Hi, I'm Steve Washer with BrainyVideo.com. I have a confession to make. I always wanted to be an astronaut. As a kid, I built one of those gigantic scale models of the Saturn V rocket, the one that took us to the moon. And then on July 16, 1968, when Apollo 11 launched, I sat in front of the TV giving color commentary to my parents. You know, breaking apart the stages of the rocket as it happened right there in front of us on the TV. Anyway, for whatever reason, I didn't actually become an astronaut. You know, few of us do. I did go into the theater for a while, and I learned some strange things about movie stars. You know, the ones who didn't come out of the rigors of the theater. Mostly I learned that movie stars were pretty much the opposite of astronauts, and the same is true today. You know, you may be too young to remember this, but there was a time when astronauts were celebrated every bit as much as movie stars. And if you don't believe me, check out one of my favorite films called The Right Stuff, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The astronaut's entire career is devoted to training for big events. They train so hard and so often that when the big event comes, it's practically a non-event. John Glenn once said that for his legendary orbits around the Earth, he'd been through the simulator so many times, seeing the sights of space, that when they actually came rushing into his senses, it was more a case of been there, done that. Now, you might think this would make his life quite boring, but here's what it actually did. Because he knew exactly what to expect under all kinds of circumstances. When an emergency came up during his flight, he was able to improvise and fly his spaceship by hand. Now, let me explain to you what this means. In order for an astronaut to return safely to Earth, his spacecraft needs to hit a target around the Earth that's as narrow as a sheet of paper and do it at 17,500 miles an hour. And as crazy as that sounds, they train for this. And because of John Glenn's training, no one ever knew the trouble he was in when they told him to shut down his automated guidance system. It was just another day at the office, just another ticker tape parade down Madison Avenue. Now, compare this to the movie star, who, with no training or preparation, is suddenly thrust into the public eye and goes completely out of control emotionally when his cappuccino is served 5 degrees cooler than he would prefer. And then when the real, heartbreaking events of life intrude, he has no resources. He can't survive it. In a sense, his survival mechanisms have been trained out of him, a kind of perverse and reverse training. Now, you may be wondering, what in the world does this have to do with video marketing? Just this. There are a lot of programs and blueprints and codes out there today in the internet community. Many of them have high value and deliver great knowledge, and very few of them require you to bring the level of commitment you need to succeed and stay successful. It's just hard for them to train that into you. And that's always bothered me, because for lasting success, you need to own those tools. They need to become part of you. In other words, you need the right training, both physically and mentally. Ask any astronaut. We're building something now at Brainy Video, something new. It will be my way of ensuring your success with the kind of training that makes you the master of your video universe. Video is where almost all marketing will be very shortly, and you have a limited window right now to get involved. A few more orbits of the Earth and that window may close. So I would love for you to get the basic knowledge and tools under your belt. Everything happens in stages. You have to walk before you can run, you have to run before you can fly, and you have to fly before you can break the bounds of gravity itself. So I would like to invite you to take a genuine look at Video Marketing Mastery, a program that gives you all the tools and knowledge you need to get started on the journey to becoming a trusted authority in your universe. I'm Steve Washer for BrainyVideo.com.